It's Thursday, July 8th, and this is now on HNN.
Now it's much easier.
Hawaii expands its vaccine passport program to domestic travelers amid the tourism boom. Meanwhile, Kahului Airport grapples with big crowds and long lines.
We're nervous about whether or not we'll make it.
President Biden addresses the nearly complete U.S. troop withdrawal from Afghanistan. I'm Natalie Brand with why there are still grave concerns about instability in the region.
I will not send another generation of Americans to war in Afghanistan.
Plus, the Tokyo Olympics will ban spectators from the games as Japan declares a COVID state of emergency. These stories and more coming up on This Is Now.
Good afternoon. Thanks for watching This Is Now on this almost Friday. Let's get right to today's top stories.
Hawaii is now allowing domestic travelers who have been fully vaccinated anywhere in the United States to skip COVID testing and quarantine. Our Casey Lund has the update.
You may remember that change was supposed to take effect when 60% of Hawaii's population became fully vaccinated. The governor decided to stick with the hard date of July 8th. And for two young ladies, one of whom was on that Hawaiian Airlines flight from Las Vegas this morning, the timing couldn't have been better.
You may claim your bags on carousel.
Literally to the day, like before she left, we were talking like making sure that she had the process down. And, you know, basically a few days ago, I was like, it's changed. You don't have to quarantine. You don't have to test or anything like that. Like, you're home free.
Kayla Idson, an Air Force veteran stationed here, and her fiance, Kaylee Champion, in from Vegas, are getting married in a few days. Planning that special day has been stressful enough. So the two were overjoyed to learn that coordinating a pre-travel test was one less thing they had to worry about and pay for.
I got really lucky. Really easy process to upload your vaccination card, and it was a breeze to get your wristband and just walk right through.
The state started accepting vaccination verifications on July 1, allowing many of this morning's Trans-Pacific travelers to get their documents in on time for this historic day.
So we were just really happy that we were able to come when we were able to bypass the testing and quarantine and stuff. So it was really lucky.
They do give you a wristband, absolutely. Once they check the COVID vaccine, make sure everything balances with the QR code that's also on the Safe Travels.
Jeff Helfrich, Vice President of Airport Operations for Hawaiian Airlines, says the long-awaited change will make the entire travel experience easier and more simple for visitors and his team members.
What this really does is it allows us, for our guests who are coming in from the mainland, who previously were taking tests and having to upload all that to Safe Travels, now it's much easier. They just have to upload their vaccine card to Safe Travels, and it allows us to clear people a lot quicker. So those people you saw coming in with those wristbands, we issue those at the ticket counter after we clear to make sure all the vaccination cards have been uploaded correctly. And then when they arrive here in Hawaii, they just go straight through, right down to baggage claim.
An important reminder for travelers, you should still bring along your physical vaccination card, just in case there's any trouble uploading it to the Safe Travels website. And for those traveling with children, if they're above the age of 5 or younger than 12, the age that most people are able to get the vaccine, they do still need to take a pre-travel test. Reporting at the Daniel K. Inouye International Airport, I'm Casey Lund. Now back to you.
All right, joining us now is Howard Dykes. He's here to tell us exactly how many people are coming into the state. Howard, what are the latest figures you're seeing?
We're getting 30,000 arrivals every single day. It's almost all domestic because we still have virtually nothing coming from other countries. We had 82% in June of 2019 domestic arrivals, and it's more than that. It's closer to 90% so far this July. So it's been, we knew there would be pent-up demand, but I'm not sure anybody knew there would be this much.
And we both live in Waikiki. We were just talking about it. The lines are out of control at certain retail spots, especially the luxury ones, and even the shave ice stands. I've seen that one stretch for almost blocks, I'd say. So how much are these people spending?
Well, we don't know yet. We have some figures from May before it got really crowded. We'll know late this month what happened in June. But we do know that there's been a lot of spending overall. The problem is a lot of that spending is on hotels, which did not do a lot of discounting. A lot of it is for rental cars, which have gone through the roof because of the rental car shortage. So what we still need to find out is how much is actually being spent on things like restaurants and adventures and tours and stuff like that.
And you mentioned those hotels, and you said they're not doing a lot of discounting. And I know that airfare at one point, a few months ago, before things really started to open up, you could get some deals. What's the ballpark of those hotel rates and those airfares you're seeing?
If you're staying on the ocean, it's hundreds of dollars a day. Now, there are deals, of course, in Waikiki back toward the canal, and a lot of people are taking advantage of those deals. So there are deals to be had. But a lot of people who are looking for cheaper rates are avoiding hotels entirely, and they're going the Airbnb Vrbo route.
Yeah, those have been surging throughout the pandemic. You've reported on them having extremely high occupancy rates, right?
Right, and that's good for them, but it's not so good for bringing hotel workers back. Fortunately, there are a lot of people who can afford hotels, and a number of workers who were idle just a month ago are getting pretty good hours now.
Howard Dyke, it's always good to chat with you here at the new H&N Digital Center. Let's toss it back over to Ashley.
So are Hawaii's airports ready for the change in rules and screening process? This is what the line at the Kahului Airport looked like yesterday. About 8,000 travelers flying in and even more flying out. Chelsea Davis takes us to the airport, which Maui's mayor says is already over capacity.
With the state dropping certain restrictions for mainland travelers, some fear the already long lines will get even longer.
The last few days we've seen about 10,000, and actually I think 10,700 on Sunday with the end of the 4th of July weekend. So part of that numbers that we've seen over the last week is all contributed to the 4th of July weekend.
The airport's manager says despite the vaccination passport going into effect for mainland travelers, he believes the onslaught of visitors will slow down before long.
As Europe and Asia and even Canada start opening up, travelers have other options. Right now, it's here in Hawaii that is open, so we see that big spike.
Officials in charge of the Safe Travels program also predict that screening visitors for vaccination cards will be faster than screening the results of pre-travel tests.
I think the line is crazy long.
With the influx in visitors, Maui's airport is adapting.
We created some additional space on the north side of the ticket lobby here, so that the queuing of the lines can, get expedited. We also got increase in staffing that have been escorting passengers through the line. So that's helped a lot.
And airlines are warning their passengers to get to the airport at least 3 hours before flight time.
I was a little bit surprised, yeah, definitely. But I mean, I'm from Seattle, so SeaTac can get pretty busy, so kind of used to it.
While some passengers weren't prepared for the long lines through TSA,
we're nervous about whether or not we'll make it.
Others say it's not bad compared to the mainland.
I'm from LA, so relative to where I'm from, this is nothing.
Reporting from Kahului, Chelsea Davis, Hawaii News Now.
Meantime, Kauai moves into Tier 5 today. It will allow gatherings of up to 75 people outdoors and 25 indoors. Restaurants, gyms, buses, and attractions will be able to operate at 75% capacity. The so-called resort bubble program also comes to an end. That allowed hotel guests to roam the property and use the amenities while completing their 14-day quarantine.
Well, do you ever find yourself in a frantic rush running through the airport because of a short layover? Well, CBS travel editor Peter Greenberg has something to say about that and some tips as well.
As so many travel providers go back to pre-pandemic bad behavior, one of the bad behavior habits is airlines insisting that a short connection time is a legal connection time. How many of you have to connect on your flights to get to where you want to go? A lot of you. A majority of you are not taking nonstop flights. So what idiot at the airline thinks, and by the way, this is idiocy, sorry, that a 37-minute connect time between flights is not only legal, but possible, right? I know that one of our Olympic hopefuls just got scratched because of marijuana, and she's the fastest woman alive. I challenge her to make a 37-minute connect time, even without marijuana. The point is this. Every plane is full. A lot of planes are late. if you're on one of those flights that has a 37-minute connect time, even if it's on time, you're running a sprint. But if it's not on time and you miss your connecting flight in another time, in another planet, in another galaxy, they might put you on another available flight. But there are no available flights. They're full as well. You're spending the night at that connecting airport. Not a good idea. So it all gets down to what you do when you make your initial reservation. And if you're doing it online, make a better choice or have a conversation. You know how I feel about that. Give yourself a minimum connecting time. I'm not kidding, of 90 minutes. And if you're connecting bags, another stupid thing to do, but some of you don't have a choice, make it 2 hours.
Japan has declared a state of emergency for this month's Olympic Games in Tokyo as COVID cases continue to climb. That means spectators are no longer allowed at the events. Tina Kraus has more.
Olympic athletes from around the world are converging on Tokyo, and the Delta variant is outrunning organizers' plans to keep the Games on track. With the rapid rise of COVID infections in the capital, Japan's prime minister is putting Tokyo in a state of emergency throughout the Games. He said the 6-week lockdown was crucial to stopping the spread of the virus. The restrictions mean no fans allowed. Sports psychologists say that could hurt the athletes.
For most top performers, it'll feel strange, and it may actually make them a bit concerned that they may not deliver their best performances.
A COVID surge already forced the Olympic torch relay to detour away from the capital. Runners have ferried the flame on boats and trains on its journey toward Tokyo for the July 23rd opening ceremony. But more than 80% of the Japanese public don't want the Games to go ahead. This woman even used a water gun to try to put out the flame, shouting, "Stop the Olympics," before police arrested her. Many residents are angry they're being ordered to stay home as the world's biggest sporting event unfolds around them. It's the 4th time Japan has declared a state of emergency since the pandemic began. Tina Kraus, CBS News.
So there was a police commission meeting yesterday, a lot of things discussed, one of the topics being who will pay the legal fees for the 3 HPD officers charged in that deadly shooting of I Remember SICAP. Lynn, you were monitoring this all day. What happened?
The Honolulu Police Commissioners approved that taxpayers should pay for the legal defense team of those police officers. You know, this is not a surprise. I reported on this weeks ago. Lots of legal experts say they really had to. The officers were responding to 911 calls. They were in their patrol cars. They were in uniform. They were in the scope of their duties as Honolulu police officers. So because of that, taxpayers typically will pay for the legal defense.
And can they just pick any attorney?
There is a process. The Honolulu Police Commission's, authority ends here. They approve that taxpayers should pay. Now, the City Council has some say in this, and really the attorneys are supposed to be approved by the city. There's a list of attorneys approved by the city. I don't know if these 3 all are approved. I've heard that they're not. So there's a process. They'll have to request, they'll have to be approved, and then they can be paid by the city. These are very good attorneys. They're high-powered private attorneys, but I don't think that would be that much of a barrier. We've seen this happen before. So I just don't know how long this will be. As the preliminary hearing is coming up later this month, this will have to get resolved, in some time, but there's no urgency here. Right now, the attorneys were willing to go forward with the preliminary hearing, were willing to go forward with the case without knowing if taxpayers were going to help fund the defense. So I don't see this stopping or slowing down the process.
Another big topic, there's still a search for HPD's next chief. What's going on there?
And there's a delay with that, not surprising, right? They always come up with, we hope to get this done by 6 months. Last time it took 8, almost 9 months to get Susan Ballard in there. So I wasn't surprised it was a delay. What I was surprised at was what the delay was. They don't have enough consultants put in for the job. And procurement rules require a certain amount of consultants to help narrow down the search. So they had 24 4 finalists, 12 were from Hawaii, 12 were non-residents. And to narrow it down to either 5 or 7 or 3, they were using consultants or a consulting firm. At this point, they don't have a consulting firm. So they're giving themselves an extra 30 days. At the end of the 30 days, it appears they're not going to extend that again. And the police commission will have to do it themselves. And really, honestly, that's their job. One of their jobs is to hire and fire a chief. If they don't have a consultant based on the procurement rules, you're just going to have to do it yourself.
And another open seat, there's still a nomination process for the next commissioner, right? What's going on there?
There is. Ann Botticelli there was a hearing at the council yesterday where some of the public got to weigh in on testimony. So that's still in the early phases as well. The council, a lot of them are on the East Coast right now for a conference. So I don't anticipate this moving just really smoothly or quickly, but it's going to continue, and next the council members will get to weigh in as well.
Len Kwano, always appreciate you joining us in the H&N Digital Center. Let's toss it over to Ashley for more news.
President Biden addressed the nation today on the withdrawal of U.S. troops from Afghanistan. Natalie Brand reports from D.C.
President Biden says the U.S. is on track to end military operations in Afghanistan by the end of August.
I will not send another generation of Americans to war in Afghanistan with no reasonable expectation of achieving a different outcome.
The Pentagon has said the withdrawal is more than 90% complete, but several hundred troops will stay as a residual force to provide security to the U.S. Embassy in Kabul.
We're not going to have a mission accomplished moment in this regard.
Thousands of Afghans who worked with U.S. forces, including translators, now face risk in their home country. The Biden administration says it's working to expedite visas and relocate them.
There is a home for you in the United States if you so choose, and we will stand with you just as you stood with us.
The U.S. pullout coincides with a surge in violence in Afghanistan, and it comes amid fears of a civil war in the region. Taliban fighters are advancing in northern parts of the country, triggering setbacks for Afghan forces.
Is the Taliban takeover of Afghanistan now inevitable?
No.
During a White House visit from Afghanistan's president last month, President Biden pledged continued humanitarian and economic help. Natalie Brandt, CBS News, the White House.
Now to the coronavirus numbers here at home. The state health department is reporting 75 new COVID cases and 1 new fatality. The breakdown by island shows 8 cases on the Big Island, 6 on Kauai, 7 on Maui, 42 on Oahu, and 12 diagnosed out of state. And this just in, the Associated Press is reporting that Pfizer is about to seek U.S. authorization for a 3rd dose of its COVID vaccine. Pfizer officials say another shot within 12 months could dramatically boost immunity and help protection against the Delta variant.
All right, let's switch gears, take you live outside. We're facing Oahu's South Shore. Got a look there at Kaka'ako Waterfront Park. How is that South Shore swell doing? I've seen so many surf videos and posts this week. Here's Billy V with an update on that.
Happy Aloha Thursday. Guy Hoggy is on assignment. Let's go ahead and check out your wave action. First of all, we'll talk about the south-facing shorelines. 4 to 6 feet. This is a swell that is on the way down, but we've got some more energy coming up this weekend. Not significant. Next week, and we'll have a significant swell from storms that are down in New Zealand. East-facing shores are 1 to 3, and those are on the way down. That's because we've also lost the winds. Let's talk about this for a couple of moments here. We'll start off here at 9 a.m. and on an Aloha Thursday as we move forward. You can see Friday, Saturday, we don't have any trade winds at all, but Sunday you'll start to see the yellow arrows. That means the trade winds are starting to come back, and they start being gusty Monday, Tuesday into Wednesday. We're talking winds 15 to 25 miles per hour. Always get the latest on air, online, on your mobile device, and at HawaiiNewsNow.com.
Well, the pandemic has transformed many aspects of life, including the world of dating. Elise Preston reports on how some are looking for love after lockdown.
Now that most pandemic restrictions have lifted in the U.S., singles, including 22-year-old Nicole, are embracing the dating scene.
I think Hot Girl Summer is in full swing, and I'm happy to be here.
During the pandemic, a lot of singles turned to online dating apps.
It's like some people I met in person, other people
I would just be like talking through the apps and then like Zoom and whatnot.
The popular dating app Hinge says dates on its site were up 14% in 2020. More than 40% of all Hinge users have been on virtual dates, and 65% want to continue using video chats in their dating lives after the pandemic.
That's because they felt really safe. They could do it from their comfort of their home, and it's this low pressure vibe check. It's a chance to say, are we a good match before we meet up in person?
75% of Hinge users say they are looking for a relationship this summer, but just over half also say they have a fear of dating again.
People want to meet someone, but they're also experiencing social anxiety about their rusty dating skills and even maybe being in public on a date.
People have different levels of comfort with what they want to do on dates now. So certain people don't want to go to concerts yet or go to baseball games. So making sure that people are really clear with what you want to do on a date is really important.
And finding the right person may be easier if you are vaccinated. Hinge says users who say they're vaccinated are getting 30% more matches. Elise Preston, CBS News, New York.
All right, the internet is talking about, and a lot of people are posting about, a treat that just totally symbolizes summer. Any guesses, guys? Any guesses? We're talking about freezer pops. Yep, that's right. Today is the day to celebrate, no matter what you got going on or how cold it is or how hot it is, because it's National Freezer Pop Day, which honors the frozen treat that's been around for more than 60 years, and it's personally one of my favorites. And according to CNN, many people go to red or blue first,
Oh,
but
yeah.
really?
Oh yeah, blue all the way.
I'm an orange person. I love blue because of the effect you get. You get like the chili blue lips, you know. But I love the orange flavor. You can show off your favorite. Just take to the internet and post yourself having one of these freezer pops. A lot of people are doing it. Again, National Freezer Pop Day.
Very interesting.
Celebrate.
Staying on the food trends, if you love McDonald's fries, they're my favorite kind of fry out there. I mean, really love them. Here's a contest you don't want to miss. So the Golden Arches is holding a contest where it will give away free fries for life to one lucky winner. It's to celebrate the restaurant's new loyalty program, which officially launches today. McDonald's values the prize at just short of $20,000. Now, 66 others will win 1 million My McDonald's Rewards points. Mickey D's is also giving away a free medium fries to any Rewards Club member on July 13th.
There is something about McDonald's fries.
Yeah.
They're so good.
It's the best one. And a new Ben & Jerry's flavor could be coming. So 6 ice cream creators are going to create new flavors on a new 4-episode TV series set to hit the Food Network next month. Ben & Jerry's Clash of the Cones is offering $20,000 to whoever comes up with the flavor that most impresses the company's co-founders. They haven't said if the winning flavor will be produced for the public yet. And to keep things exciting, the creators must create flavors inspired by a celebrity who will also offer direction. Now, rapper Ludacris and actor Kevin Bacon are among the stars who will be participating.
What would be the Ashley flavor? That would be my celebrity name.
I don't know.
It would have to be something without peanut butter.
Yes.
I know that. But I've really switched to the frozen yogurt flavors they offer. There's some really good ones. And the celebrity one I think of that's just so creative they have is the, everyone loves it, the Cherry Garcia, right?
Yeah.
It's classic. True classic.
Yeah. And guys, Love's Bakery is reopening for one day to sell the remaining inventory of baked goods. Now, this Saturday, Love's fans can stop by the factory outlet on Dillingham Boulevard from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. and pick up $1 bags of everything from hamburger buns, rolls, donuts, bagels, English muffins, and other non-expired products. Now, there will also be an online auction tomorrow for unique Love's memorabilia like Aloha shirts and vintage signage. And there's a separate auction going on right now for those bigger items like the delivery trucks and the commercial bakeware. Now, the family-owned business closed several months ago after serving the islands for 170 years. Oregon-based Fran's Family Bakery bought the Love's brand and continues to make its products.
I saw some of those Aloha shirts up for auction. They were really cool.